session, we're going to go in as the consultant and search for invoices and also see how you can create invoices as well. From here, I'm going to go to Engineering Agreements in the menu bar and select Invoices. This will take me to the Invoices search portal. Here I can go in and set custom search criteria, or I can perform an express search, searching for any invoices that are pending my approval as a prime consultant with subs, or I can go in and view any pending invoices that I have outstanding. Here I also have a support function to create an invoice as well. Here I want to go in and perform an advanced search, so I'm going to click the advanced search hyperlink. Here's where I can set criteria to go in and search for an invoice. If I wanted to save this search, down at the bottom I've got the Save Search As. I can go in and save that search. Here I have some previous criteria that's set where I'm searching for invoices that are in draft status. If I wanted to, I could clear out any previous search criteria by clicking the Clear button. But here I'm going to click Search. So here in the results screen, I see that I've got 2 invoices that are currently in draft status. I've got 2 different agreements here, Agreement 1 and Agreement 5. And then it'll show me the part, the invoice number, whether or not that was a final agreement, the business partner, so I can tell if it's a sub-invoice or not, the business partner ID, the current status, also have a payment status there, period end and period beginning, period beginning and period ending, and then the amount and supervising VP invoice. So here I'm going to click on invoice number 1. So here I can see some details for invoice number 1. Scrolling down through, I'll see my invoice totals, and then payment information, contacts, tracking information. As the business partner, I can put in a tracking code. I can also add any notes. And then I can also see the workflow. This invoice is currently in draft status. So here I can see when it was submitted and it was rejected by PennDOT. Reject/revise is the option that PennDOT chose to reject it, so that the business partner can go back in and revise that. So PennDOT, the project manager, can return it to draft status for the consultant on the PennDOT side. Also, consultants will be able to delete draft invoices. And the consultant will also be able to specify only one invoice now as a final invoice. They will also not be able to enter in payroll for lump sums. And they'll also be able to see that DBE information will be updated once an invoice is approved. So those are some of the new things in ECMS 2 for invoices. The biggest thing with invoices for consultants is it's really going to be a lot easier of a process. It's now all online. They don't have to download any templates and use that offline application. They can just do all of it here in ECMS 2, and there's no offline process at all. It's a lot easier. So here I want to go in and look at my invoice 1. So I'm going to click on invoice 1 in the invoice totals heading. Here I can see the invoice totals, the percent complete. Here I can edit that information by clicking the edit button. Other costs, I could add an other cost by clicking the edit button. And also payroll, so I can enter in new payroll here as well. I'm going to go in and click the new button here to add an employee and then add some payrolls and hours for that particular employee. I'm going to go in and enter in Dave Project. I'm going to click the plus sign next to Dave Project. And here I can select the task, and I can select regular hours, overtime hours, hazardous hours, hazardous overtime hours. So I can go in and enter that in all across one line as a consultant. So here maybe I had 40 hours, and at the top I also have a calculate button. When I click the calculate button, that will readjust this screen, and I'll see the different hours and the payroll and the amount due. Here at the top, I'm going to click Save and Exit. If I had additional employees I wanted to add hours for, I could click Save and New. But here I'm going to click Save and Exit. I want to go back to the invoice summary screen. But before I do that, I wanted to point out I can also go back and view some of the reports here, other costs to date, method of payment to date. I want to go back to the invoice summary. So here I'm going to click the invoice hyperlink in the invoice header. Clicking the invoice hyperlink will take me back to the invoice summary screen. From here, I can submit this by going up to the workflow toolbar button and selecting Submit. I could also specify that this was a final by clicking Switch to Final. Another note here on the toolbar is the Delete button if the consultant wanted to delete that while it's still in draft status.